Hello everybody, thank you for tuning into the Quick Speed channel. My name is Dee, and today we are going to be talking about building a business name from scratch. In this video, I am doing a trial of how I would go about naming a business. The business that I am pretending to make is all about gifts for horse lovers or horse owners, and I have selected a few names. I'm going to show you how to make sure that the name would be available in your state, no matter which state you live in. I'm going to show you how to make sure that you wouldn't be infringing upon anybody else's name, which means I'm going to show you how to use Trademark Database to make sure that your name is not already taken. I'm also going to show you how to check to see that the domain name is available. Certainly would not want to start a business using a name that someone already has a website on. Even if you don't want to build a website, you don't want somebody else having a website with your company name, right? I'm also going to show you best practices for naming. There are just a few things that if you do now, it will make your life easier, and I'll go over those first. And finally, if you are struggling coming up with a brand name, or if everything that you have selected already taken by somebody else, or you've gotten them kicked back because they're already in use, I'm going to show you a really cool method for brainstorming business names that will get the juices flowing and hopefully get you a perfect name that you never even thought possible. If you have any interest in learning anything I just talked about, I will see you after the press. All right, guys, 3 best practices for naming your new business: easy to pronounce, easy to spell, and preferably under 20 characters. Now, easy to spell and easy to pronounce are pretty obvious. People will hear your business name and they will type it out into a search in Google or on Etsy. And if they can't find you because, you kind of implemented a funny way of spelling your business name, that might actually lead them to somebody else's business that spelled it correctly. Unless you are really going to spend some money in brand awareness and you are going to make sure that people understand how to spell it. Here is a good example. I hear an ad for this company on the radio all the time in the car, and it's called Bull and Branch, and they have incredible sheets, but they are called Bull and Branch. And now when I think of the word bowl, I think of B-O-W-L. But it's not. It's B-O-L-L. And I never even knew that that was a word, to be honest. But apparently that's some type of pod on the cotton. Now, I wouldn't know that. But if you listen to their commercials on the radio, they spend like half the time telling and reiterating how to spell their name. Well, they'll say, go to Bull and Branch. That's B-O-L-L. And they say that over and over throughout the advertisement. So they have committed to spending the money to teach people that the word bull is B-O-L-L and not B-O-W-L. And if you're not prepared to do that, then maybe spell words correctly is all. Okay. Well, for one reason, if you have any desire to sell on Etsy, their store names are one of the most limited store names. Like for Facebook pages, I think it's up to 50 characters, but Etsy limits you at 20 characters, and you have to squeeze it all together. So if you choose a name that is longer than 20 characters, you're going to have to come up with a different store name on Etsy. That could cause some confusion in your marketing. So you're going to have like 2 different names, your website name and your Etsy name. Another reason for that is 20 characters is just about right for logos, right? And you think about the smallest things that you might include for a customer, like a thank you card, a business card, a label. You might start to get into labeling your own t-shirts in the back with a sublimated print. If you can keep it under 20 characters, everything just looks better. If you have a really long business name, it's hard to wrap it. It's hard to fit it onto a business card without reducing the font to like font number 9 or 8. And that makes it really hard for people to see without glasses. So if you can come up with a business name that is easy to say, easy to pronounce, and under 20 characters in total, your life will be a little bit easier. All right, everyone, before we get into each individual section, I do like to get all the tabs open. Every website I'm going to be using. Let me show you which tabs I normally put up in my internet browser. All right, everyone, I'm going to show you the tabs that I always open up to start. If you have any intentions of selling on Etsy, you're definitely going to want to open up Etsy, and we will look for shop names, because we wouldn't want a duplicate shop name if, in fact, we are definitely going to do most of our sales on Etsy. Secondly, I have up my state database of names, and in just a second, I'll show you how to pull up yours. The third website that I have up is uspto.gov, and once you're here, you're going to go ahead and click on the trademark. And then you're going to come under here and click the search trademark. That is going to lead you to their electronic search system, which is called TESS. And we're going to open that up. And then we are also going to click here on the basic word search. And then finally, the last tab that I have open, I like to check for domains and buy domains on Namecheap, because it is typically always cheaper. They always have promo codes that you can get a domain name for $5 or $6 for the entire year, and gives you the free domain privacy every year. So other companies charge you to keep your name private, and Namecheap gives it to you for free every single year. That's why I use Namecheap. Now, if you are not in New York State, you will just type into a Google search like LLC name search, and let's just say you live in Kansas, and see where that takes you. You're looking for like a DOS, which means Department of State, or something that ends in .gov. So here we have the business entity search for Kansas. Let's just click on that. I don't live in Kansas, but I'm just going to show you how you would do it. And here you have the business entity database. And here we go. You would search by name because you're trying to see if the name is available. Do one more. We'll go to Florida and put up like something like lookup or database. And here we have, I see the DOS, myflorida.com. Oh, here it is in Florida. Search records, corporations, here we go, and search by name. So the same thing. And there you go. I'm going to close those out, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like to get to the database for your state. So the 4 tabs that I have open to verify viability in a name: Etsy, a New York State database, the federal database of trademarks, and Namecheap. Now, it's always nice to start this process with, a list of 3, 4, 5 names, just because it's very likely that you're going to whittle that list down to like 1 or 2 that are available. Even if you're using a company who's going to file that LLC for you, and I have talked about that, there's a company that will file that for you for free. You still have to pay the filing fee, but they don't charge you anything to put the paperwork together and get it to your state. That's InkFile, and that link is in the description. But even if you were to use a company like them, you still want to have your next name really fast in case one of them comes back as a problem. Let's move on. For my fake business, I want to have the word stable in it. I don't want to just say horse. I want to say stable, because it does leave me a little bit of wiggle room to expand my product line if I say stables versus just horses. So I'm kind of thinking of that. And I've also determined that I want it to be somehow like related to Sunnyside stables, Sunray stables, or something to that effect, because I have a little bit of an idea for a logo in my head of the sun with like a horse silhouette in front of it. And that is as simple as it needs to be for naming a business that is going to be geared toward gifts for horse lovers or owners. Let's go back into my computer and start whittling down this list. Here I am inside of my 4 open tabs. It doesn't really matter too much where you begin. I guess I probably wouldn't start on Etsy because that is the least important factor to me. And I'm only doing that for an example for you guys. I don't use Etsy. I use my own websites. So typically I start in my own state database. Yours might look a little bit different from mine. Every state is going to have a different feel and different search features. I have 4 names: Sunny Stables, Sunshine Stables, Sunnyside Stables, and Sunray Stables. So I am just going to punch each one of those in, searching by entity name, and see what happens. Make sure you spell it right. For entity type, if you get the choice, you can choose all statuses. I do like to see whether or not something is active or whether or not it just became inactive. And in my case, I get all of these options and I'm going to choose all of them. So no business entities were found. That's great. Let me just try my next one of Sunshine Stables. And here we go, Sunshine Stables Inc. And those are way too close. I'm going to cross Sunshine Stables off of my list. Return to search. Now I've got Sunnyside Stables I'll check with. It's too bad you can't check these all at once. And I cannot use Sunnyside Stables. That's going to give me a problem. So I'm going to cross off Sunnyside Stables. Now again, remember, I'm in New York. This might be fine for you in your state, but somebody in New York has it, so I can't use it. The other one that I had interest in was Sunray Stables. And that one is going to be okay. Now, I'm just going to go back and I'm also going to type in sun with a space because I want to be really sure. All right, and that is okay. All right, guys, here I am in the federal trademark system, and I am going to look for the 2 that are available. Already, my list is whittled down to 2, Sunny Stables or Sunray Stables. So this is how I'm going to search it. I am in this field here. You always want to keep that plural and singular, and I like to look for both live and dead. Just because I like to know if something was recently dead, somebody might decide to activate it. And then that would just cause a problem for me. So the first one, Sunny Stables. And I'm going to click Submit Query. And I have 2, Sunnybrook Stables and Sunnyside Stables. Sunnyside Stables is dead. And I couldn't use that anyway because somebody in New York is using that. But anyway, Sunnybrook Stables, that is not really a conflict of interest because I would just be interested in Sunny Stables. But I should go look at it just in case, because if it were about like gifts for horse owners, I would probably stay away from it. Sunnybrook Stables providing horseback riding instructions. Okay, that is not going to be a conflict for me for like me putting cute sayings of horses on tumblers or whatever, baby bibs. And it's not the same name exactly, but I will say, if I had clicked in here and it said Sunnybrook Stables and it was giftware related to horses, I would probably stay away from it because I just wouldn't want the problem like down the road of somebody saying that I'm infringing on their mark. That's me. I'm just like extra cautious and conservative because it takes a long time to build a business. I don't want any problems coming back that I can prevent right now. But this looks good to me. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do Sunray Stables. And there is nothing I'm going to come in here and put a space in between the sun and the ray just for good measure, and click submit. And there is nothing. So I feel more confident about Sunray Stables than I do Sunny Stables. But I'm going to check them both out for the domain. Here I am in Namecheap. So the first one I'm going to try is Sunny Stables. And I'm going to put .com because I am only interested in .coms. Most of us understand websites to be .coms. Sunny Stables. Yeah, somebody is selling that for nearly $7,000. Yeah, so I have absolutely no interest in paying $7,000 for a domain. And this is obviously, sometimes people do that. They buy domains and they sell them for profit. For instance, if I were to go to sunnystables.com and see what is here, it's probably not even a website. Yeah, somebody bought this domain name for about, $8 to $10, and they're trying to sell it for $7,000. So I am not interested in that. Now, I just want to bring your attention to the .net available domain down here. If you come down here, it does say that the Sunny Stables is taken, but you could get sunnystables.net for $11. I personally would not do that. I would not build a business on a .net because this is the premium domain, the .coms. And if somebody did decide to build this out, all of a sudden there's confusion, and .coms are just far superior than .net. Even though it's tempting, I wouldn't do it. I would look for a different business name. So let's go, hopefully, now I only have one option left, and that's sunraystables.com. And here it is. It is available for $8.98 per year. I can probably also get a promo code for that. If I can find one, I will put a promo code in the description show notes as well. So Sunray Stables, that's really awesome. That is available, and I would simply add it to my cart. I'm not going to check out right now. I just want to show you why I use Namecheap. Now, this would be the domain for the entire year, $9.16. Namecheap gives you the domain privacy for 1 year, and it's free forever. So every year that you want to renew this domain will always give you free forever the domain privacy. And I have not found another company that gives you that for free. It's usually always another $5 or $10 to get that domain privacy, so people can't look you up and know that you own the domain. So at this point, I would go with Sunray Stables. And if I were going to have an Etsy shop, I would want to come over here and make sure that that is available. So I would type in Sunray, and you see as soon as you start typing, you have all these options, but down at the bottom it says Find Shop Names Containing Sunray. I'm going to click on that and see if there's anything. 105, that's too many to sift through, so I'm just going to punch in the actual name. Sunray Stables. Find shop names containing Sunray Stables, and I'm going to click that, and there are none. And I'm just going to look to see if there's anything with stables, or maybe Sun Stables. Sun and stable. Find shop names containing Sun, stable, nothing. Sunray Stable, just to be sure. Nothing. All right, so I would be pretty confident that if I were going to open an Etsy store, I could use the name Sunray Stables as my Etsy store, which means I wouldn't have to have a second name and confuse my customers. The name that I am going to buy is going to be sunraystables.com. Let me pop back out. All right, guys, that was exciting. Sunray Stables, and that's a pretty cool name. I really do envision sun rays in the background and a horse silhouette for my logos, so that will be really easy and fun to make. And it'll look good on everything. If I can get logos on the bottom of coffee cups or on the backs of t-shirts, it'll look really, really cool, and it will help me with branding my business, Sunray Stables. But I wouldn't build my website just yet, and that's because you still have to submit all that paperwork with your requested name and your money, and you just never know what might happen in the interim. I don't know if somebody else has paperwork already on the way to the state asking for this LLC name and they just didn't bother to get the domain name. So you just never know. I wouldn't really spend the time or money building that website until I had the papers in my hand. Here's your business name, Sunray Stables. Go ahead and start your business. All right. And that's why I didn't add any web hosting service or anything onto that Namecheap account. Just get the domain. And when you get approved, then you can add on the web hosting. And we will talk about that in a different video. Right now, you know no one in your state is using that name. You know that you wouldn't be infringing on anyone at the federal level with the trademark. You know that you could use it on Etsy pretty confidently, and you have secured the .com domain, right? That is really important. Nobody can build a website on that domain name. It is yours. Even if the state kicked back your business name and said, sorry, while you were submitting your paperwork, we had another request here, and somebody else wanted that name. You do not know what people are doing right now at this very moment. But what's interesting about that is you would own the domain name, and perhaps you might be able to sell it for far more than $8.98 that you paid for it. Lots of people do not think about getting that domain name prior to submitting all their paperwork to the state. It's an afterthought for them, but for $8 or $9, definitely save one or two names just to be sure that they are yours if you want them. That's that. I have Sunray Stables. It's easy to say, it's easy to pronounce, it's under 20 characters, and it has a nice little ring to it. Now, that seemed pretty easy, right? It doesn't always go this smoothly. I want to talk about how to kind of brainstorm ideas when the ideas that you have are just not available. So I'm going to show you right now an idea for a brainstorming session, something that really kind of gets the juices flowing and can maybe get you even a better name than you're thinking. All right, let me go back to my computer, show you a website that can help the creative process. Brandbukkitcom. There are several different websites like this where you can just kind of go and get ideas. They actually buy domain names that they think they can sell for a lot of money. Now, we just bought the domain name Sunray Stables, and it was, all of $9. There are companies out there who, as investments, they buy domain names and then they try to sell them as a brandable business name. And in that, you will get the domain name as well. Now, I am not suggesting that you come in here and buy a brand from them and a domain name because it is really expensive. What I would do here is I would come up and I would search maybe for horse. Now, mind you, most of these were just people who bought those domain names and, they're putting a logo attached to it and trying to get a significant amount of money. But like I said, I am not suggesting at all that you buy these. That's really funny. That's a really cool name for a horse business, horse. But look at that, $6,815. But a website like this can just get you into the creative process. All right. So what it can do is it can help you tie new words to the words that you are already thinking of. Like, for instance, I really wanted the word stable in my business, but here I can see stable folk might have been a really cool name. Stable Manor could be a cool name. Or Dark Horse Stables. And I would try it with a bunch of like different words. I wouldn't just use horse to put barn. Oh, wagon, like be like wagon and stable, or the stable wagon. Sprouting farms, maybe like sprouting stables. Hey piggy, that's funny. Harvest blooms, like those are two good words altogether, like the stable harvest or stable blooms, or blooms and stable, especially if you were going to have like a lot of flowers in your horse designs as well. That could be a really cool name. But do you see how like it just kind of gets you thinking more about like words associated to your, I'm going to go in here with farm, words associated with your business name. Stable heart, that would be like a really cool name too. Nice heart in the background with a horse silhouette logo. That could be really cool. Stable silo. That's another great name. All right, let me pop back out here. Going to a place like Brandbukkit and searching names really does help open all the pathways in how you can get creative in your brand naming. And it kind of gives you all those like little helper words to perhaps come up with an even better name than you were thinking of. But I do hope that you like just take inspiration from those. There is absolutely no reason that you have to pay thousands of dollars for a brand name. That is going to do it for this video. If you have gotten any help from it at all, please help me. Turn that like button blue for me, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in our very next video. Links to everything that we have talked about will be in the description, so make sure you check that out. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support, and happy sublimating. Bye.